city. Drop down on my knees and say, I feel so blessed, 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 blessed. Blessy, blessy, whoa. Bless God, blessy, blessy, whoa. Blessy, blessy, whoa. Bless God, blessy, blessy, whoa. Blessy, blessy, whoa. Bless God, blessy, blessy, whoa. Blessy, blessy, whoa. Bless God, blessy, blessy, whoa.
What we don't realize is that we can still love those who we don't want around us. We can still love those who we may not even want to associate with or ever see again. Now, right now, I am about to head to see some of my brothers, my friends, perform some amazing music.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish that I could make a difference. It's just a wish, so I need very good parents. Timmy, turn. I give me a cause for wonder. Never will I be make a dance. My love is a drug and we make it a better place for every woman, every man, every boy, every girl. It's already 9 minutes after 1. I'm giving you love. Before we kick off the talk on the block, give them love, all the haters. All those who hate to love me and love to hate me. More love to you, okay? A beautiful Thursday afternoon. Practice what you preach and give love all the time. You would say your blessing will quadruple. The Bible says that good will turn down evil. Hallelujah, praises to the Lion of Judah. Never will I become a pastor, but I will still believe that this is the word of the Lord. And I will get the amen. He's spreading his love yet to all enemies and all friends. All the to just to pretend he's still not the one to pass me. That's what in the end. So we go give them love and leave all the rest to the man above. You don't have to be holy. Just give love to everybody. When people have no reason, but they hate you. Good afternoon, Dominica. Good afternoon to you. Give them love. People have no reason, but they brought you. And they're doing anything just to block you. Be up on your quota. You should give them love. And divide love. And divide love. Good afternoon, Dominica. Welcome. Welcome to the talk on the block. If it's on the block, we'll talk about it. Good afternoon to Edlin. Yes. How you doing there in the scenic community of Eggleston? More love in the afternoon, okay? Dominica, we expect a guest sometime in the hour. So I want to say good afternoon to you in Dominica, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, and the world by extension. I just want to always reiterate that today is the beginning of the gun amnesty. So if you know something, say something. This afternoon, I'm going to start off with this way I ended this morning. because we're looking for more transparency and more accountability. Our next guest will talk about it a little bit. We want an update. We want transparency. We want accountability. Remember June 16th? When Dennis Charles Pemberton, acting Prime Minister at the time, made this statement after the collapse of the concrete structure, concrete roof at the Dominica Grammar School. She announced there that all construction would cease and an immediate investigation would take place. It's a month and 1 day later. Nothing. And work continues.
The government of Dominica views the collapse of the concrete roof at the Dominica Grammar School construction site on Monday, June 16, as a matter of grave concern and is addressing it with the highest level of urgency and seriousness. We are thankful that the incident caused no injuries. On Tuesday, June 17, the Cabinet decided on the following measures to ensure thorough and transparent response with the safety of students and staff as our top priority. An independent investigation will be conducted to determine the cause of the structural failure. An engineering firm will be engaged to carry out a comprehensive assessment and submit a detailed report to the government. All other structures currently under construction at the site will be thoroughly inspected to assess their structural integrity and ensure compliance with safety standards. Construction activities have been ordered suspended with immediate effect while the investigation is ongoing. A joint team from the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Public Works has been tasked with overseeing the process and ensuring that all necessary corrective actions are implemented. The well-being of the students, teachers, and staff of the Dominica Grammar School is the government's paramount concern, and we will make no compromise in ensuring their safety and protection. The government of Dominica will provide further updates as the investigation progresses and additional information becomes available.
In a press release statement dated July 17th, 2025, and written by the Electoral Reform Coalition ERC, titled DGS Auditorium Roof Collapse, Construction Activities Resume, reads: Construction has resumed at the Dominica Grammar School project site following the collapse of the auditorium roof during ongoing works on Monday, June 16, 2025. Fortunately, there were no fatalities or reported injuries as a result of the incident, in contrast to a similar occurrence earlier this year in the Dominican Republic, which resulted in the loss of life of 243 people. The consequences could have been significantly more severe had the collapse occurred after project completion, when the facility would have been occupied by students and staff, following some brief statements from government officials indicating an intention to engage a professional structural engineering firm to investigate the incident, as well as expressions of concern from the Electoral Reform Coalition ERC. Public commentary on the matter has been limited. The Physical Planning Division has not yet issued an official statement, and both the developer and the contractor have made no public remarks. Additionally, the professional community, including engineers, architects, contractors, and lawyers, along with the wider public, have largely remained silent on the issue. Despite the recent incident, construction activities have proceeded at an accelerated pace, apparently aiming for occupancy in September of 2025 to coincide with the upcoming academic year. In response, the ERC has identified several key questions. Were the designs approved by the Physical Planning Division, and was the facility constructed in accordance with those designs? Did the Physical Planning Division carry out inspections as required under the Physical Planning Act and Building Code? Who are the developers and contractors responsible for the project? Has the government of Dominica formally appointed a structural engineering firm to investigate the auditorium roof collapse? What is the current status and scope of this investigation? Are measures in place to mitigate conflicts of interest, such as ensuring that investigators have no prior relationship with the developer or contractor? Who will bear the costs of the investigation, the taxpayers of Dominica or the developer and contractor? How will the outcome of the investigation be determined? If evidence of gross professional negligence is found, what sanctions or penalties will be imposed? Who will finance the restoration of the auditorium? Is it feasible to salvage the existing structure, or will complete demolition be necessary? Will other structures on the project site also be subject to investigation? And can assurances be given regarding their compliance with accepted standards and certification of structural adequacy? And will the government of Dominica permit occupation of the new facility by students without explicit confirmation from the developer, contractor, and physical planning division regarding its structural safety? Preliminary observations suggest deficiencies in construction practices relating to the auditorium roof collapse. It is imperative that robust assurance of structural safety is provided before students occupy the facility. The ERC encourages transparency and accountability throughout this process, including the possibility of public access to the collapsed structure to promote learning and improved construction practices. The ERC remains committed to monitoring developments closely in the interest of students' safety and governmental accountability, particularly given the project's estimated cost exceeding $55 million. The coalition also calls for political parties, civil society organizations, professional associations, youth groups, and the business community to actively contribute to the ongoing discourse regarding this matter. This press statement, again, was written and approved by the Electoral Reform Coalition ERC executive on July 17th, 2025.
It's 1 month later, and not a hint from all the investigations they claim would be taking place. Before we move on, because somebody's already suggested to me that they need to hear the statement from the acting prime minister at the time, is Dennis Charles Pemberton. But we have a very important announcement from DOWASCO at this time. DOWASCO wishes to inform customers from Mero to Castle Comfort, including Campbell and Warner, that their water supply will be interrupted or they will experience low water pressure as the WA1 water system has been temporarily shut down to facilitate emergency repairs on the damaged 12-inch water main in Mondania. Their team is working urgently to complete repairs and restore the supply as quickly as possible. The WASCO sincerely regrets any inconvenience caused and thanks its customers for their patience and understanding. Again, DOWASCO wishes to inform customers from Mero to Castle Comfort, including Campbell and Warner, that their water supply will be interrupted or they will experience low water pressure as the WA1 water system has been temporarily shut down to facilitate emergency supplies on the damaged 12-inch water main in Mondania.
The team is working urgently to complete repairs and restore the supply as quickly as possible. The Wasco regrets any inconvenience caused and thanks customers for their patience and understanding. Now, back to that statement there, calling for a full-scale investigation. At the time, June 16th, that's a month and 1 day ago. Have you heard anything about it? And my reports indicate that there's still work taking place on the grounds of the Dominica Grammar School. Let's listen again.
The government of Dominica views the collapse of the concrete roof at the Dominica Grammar School construction site on Monday, June 16, as a matter of grave concern and is addressing it with the highest level of urgency and seriousness. We are thankful that the incident caused no injuries. On Tuesday, June 17, the Cabinet decided on the following measures to ensure thorough and transparent response with the safety of students and staff as our top priority. An independent investigation will be conducted to determine the cause of the structural failure. An engineering firm will be engaged to carry out a comprehensive assessment and submit a detailed report to the government. All other structures currently under construction at the site will be thoroughly inspected to assess their structural integrity and ensure compliance with safety standards. Construction activities have been ordered suspended with immediate effect while the investigation is ongoing. A joint team from the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Public Works has been tasked with overseeing the process and ensuring that all necessary corrective actions are implemented. The well-being of the students, teachers, and staff of the Dominica Grammar School is the government's paramount concern, and we will make no compromise in ensuring their safety and protection. The government of Dominica will provide further updates as the investigation progresses and additional information becomes available.
All right, new information suggests that the construction of the new Dominica Grammar School, DGS, is expected to be completed by the end of June this year. According to pronouncements made earlier, this was according to the Prime Minister and Roosevelt, who led a site visit to the ongoing construction at DGS on Monday. I was there. I joined other reporters in that site visit. At that time, quote, "This morning I have noticed some things I believe that may need to be revised. But overall, it's so far so good," the Prime Minister said. Both the contractor and the developer are saying at the end of June. It's a huge goal from my standpoint, which requires longer working hours. Skerritt stated that more workmen will be required to carry out the duties. There are still some movements to make, the Prime Minister noted. Though we are under pressure to have the students in at the earliest opportunity, but at the same token, we have to be careful that we do not speed up and compromise the structures or the structural integrity that the architectural duty of the Dominica Grammar School, of the architectural duty of the Dominica Grammar School. Last month, the construction was expected to be completed. What has really happened now? Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, 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 I'm here. Briefly and short. Just give me a little break, right? Matt, listen to that good. You're a top journalist, right? The evidence, no evidence, right? Evidence, right? They said they will find out and go further. Why go further where you destroy everything? I say, I meditate. I say, is more sand, less cement, or less cement and more sand. Just think of that. You can remember the story of Kenisha where they destroyed the evidence. They shoot the man and there was no evidence to talk about Kenisha. And that is the same thing that happened in the grammar school. One more thing and I go on. I hear a caller calling and saying about tremor. So how the HE dash dash a tremor can pass in the grammar school? It didn't pass at my home. It didn't pass in the Ministry of the Financial Center. So it passed in the grammar school. But I want to tell the Minister of Tourism and all her colleagues, win and come again because the evidence is destroyed. So we are the evidence, my mother. Thank you very much.
Malin, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you. Yes. But how can you view something as grave and treat it as trivial? Based on the words by the PM during the site visit, was the project being fast tracked, hence this compromising of the project? Listen. I read the words there of the PM when he visited there on that day. Let's go to the telephone at this time. Hello, talk to me. Yes? Uh-huh.
And don't forget to have Dr. Dale Danguben on your program.
Okay, Marlene, thank you very much. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes? She finds every
Good
telephone.
afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir. How you doing?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
How many Juniors have in there, exactly really?
Well, it was a month ago. I think the prime minister, the acting prime minister, spoke.
Well, I believe Skeleton will not know that I'm too tuned in here.
Why would you say that?
But if you say grammar school is finished June, which June this year?
I'm getting a question, but it's a question because, of course, he visited earlier before this structure collapse. So I don't think he was referring to any other June when he visited the compound. We're expecting an engineer later in the hour, but we'll announce once he gets here. Hello, talk to me.
Hello, Matt, you hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Yeah, let me tell you. I want to congratulate my friend there and the news father there.
Franklin or Richie, which one?
Moses, they give the news.
Oh, you've been Franklin Moses, yes?
He gave the news today
Okay,
at 12 o'clock.
Franklin.
I want to congratulate him for his comprehensive report and the manner of delivery of this news package today. Congratulations, Franklin Moses, is it?
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Thank you. Somebody says the problem is not the lies of the government ministers. The problem is we are believing them. The investigation continues in the Gunny Manuel case, missing money in Monrose, collapse of the Pont Conseil Road, dead child by the Bay in Vegas, Chuck C found on Tukari Beach. It goes on and promise investigation. Another one I keep speaking about. The investigation that chances their enjoyment. What's really going on? There's no complete investigation. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes, good afternoon.
Hey, Matt, good afternoon to the entire Dominica. I like to set my name because I want him to find out which Bernard Morrow and try to see how he can take Bernard Morrow down. Because that is what he loves to do most. This is Bernard Morrow from Massac. And as I indicated earlier, I would put any little chihuahua, any little donkey, and they would have done a better job than this Prime Minister. Because Mr. Go and saying something about the grammar school. What is he? Where is he qualified? Is he qualified in that field? Was he reading from somebody's report? How can he say such? Work is well gone ongoing and then this and that and that and that and that. How can he say all of that without
But I know you're involved in the construction business. What is your assessment? I know you're involved in that business. What is your assessment of what really happened there at the grammar school? Your professional opinion, your expert opinion. What do you think happened there? Because we are looking for answers we can't find. Tell me what you think. What happened there at the grammar school? Give me your opinion.
You pour in concrete, all right? You're supposed to be cubes, and you're supposed to full up these cubes and run through a lab.
Okay.
All right, and see that the concrete meets the criteria, or it meets the yeah. And that was not done. Apparently, it's a weak structure that was put there.
So there were. I'm hearing there were no beams supporting that structure. Is that a realistic fact there?
Yeah, anything that is beyond 20 feet needs an internal not a beam, a column.
A column.
And the beam.
Okay.
Yeah. And if the beam is adequately strengthened with the steel, it can probably support the weight.
Okay.
But I would still advise that a column be put somewhere in the center of it for additional support. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my take on that.
So you're suggesting that nothing like that was there?
Apparently not. And let me tell you something. Right about now, I would advise every child and their parents to be fearful of being under the rest of the structure. Yeah, because if it happens to one, it can happen to all, and that might just be deliberate. That just to prolong the date of completion. That to me that was intentionally done, because Mr. said that he have not qualified contractors down here, and all he giving is foreign contractors. I went to his office with that little small thing that building the hotel in Cafe Comfort or something around there. And I told him, boss, you giving all our jobs to foreigners. He tell me, you know what he mean? You know what he answered me and say? Because the foreigners come in with their own collateral. I said, but you are the Prime Minister, you're not supposed to make it easy for us. And one time, Matt, as soon as I finished said that, as soon as he was finished in my mouth, he said that he has to go to a meeting. Yeah, because I do think he wanted to hear more of me because I came here so badly for him, but he discarded me very early. I would put a little chihuahua to act, any chihuahua to act in his place, and they would have done a better job. I get to dislike the guy because he's lying as he breathes here. Because as I said this morning, he said that when his final tabulation was done, he would have put Lennox Lincoln to shame, and none of that was done. So I get to dislike the guy. I get to dislike him. I don't want to say hate, but I get to dislike him.
Okay, caller, thank you very much. Thank you. Again, the words of the Prime Minister on that day he visited, I can't remember the date exactly, but his words, this morning I have noticed some things I believe that may need to be revisited. But overall, what are these things, Prime Minister? What are these things that you talk about? But overall, it's so far so good. He continued, both the contractor and the developer are saying at the end of June, meaning the project would have been completed at the end of June. It's a huge goal from my standpoint, which requires longer working hours. And the Prime Minister further stated that the more workmen will be required to carry out their duties. There are still some heavy movements to make, the Prime Minister stated. Though we are under pressure to have students at the earliest opportunity, but at the same token, we have to be careful that we do not speed up and compromise the structural integrity and the architectural duty of the Dominica Grammar School. That was the Prime Minister. When he visited, I was there along with some of the journalists. It's clear from experts that it may have been compromised. Somebody's quoting January 7th, 2025, when that visit took place. Was it that far back? But why he and other ministers not sending the children to that school? Because they may be scared of another collapse when school reopens. Again, we have to be very seriously concerned about an investigation announced, but we've heard nothing about that investigation. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes.
Not that what I'm there, I'm wondering. He never mentioned the disaster, or what you would say, Matt, the disaster, Matt? Would you say a disaster, Matt?
You can use the word, of course, in terms of near, it will say a near disaster because nobody was in the building.
Okay. The incident, it could be a disaster.
Or the collapse of the concrete structure, yes.
Okay, thanks. Matt, I am saying I'm hearing you quoting what the brother said. And I'm saying, but first of all, the brother just said it. He's not an engineer. He was speaking out of turn. That's not his expertise. But all of a sudden, the man is judge, jury, and executioner, chief cook, and bottle washer. But Matt, he did not even say, oh, I praise God, or whatever. I still can say praise God, the children. He showed no empathy, no humanity, not even words relating to the incident where people could have died.
And my brother was telling me, I do not want to be more explicit so they can think. He said there were no ring beam. Not the ring beam is all in the edges of the top. You have the concrete and the steel, almost like a ring around the building. No matter even if it is square, they call it a ring beam mat. Okay. So he said that what they may have done is use concrete for the sides and just stack that and no support column. He said even if it had one or two support columns, it could not have collapsed that easily. And not to say it's a construction somebody did and 5 years later, 3 years later, not within construction, the roof collapsed. Matt, that must be somewhere. No, I'm an expert, Matt. Inscarry can be an expert, Matt. I am an expert. Matt, some shortcuts have been made. And Matt, is it a local company?
Well, you see, the investigation would reveal that, but we have no idea. But my information suggests, that it may be a foreign company.
Matt, when you see they tell you investigation is ongoing, going. You know when the highest bidder, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Going once, going twice, and gone. That's what it is for years. And as I said, instead of trying to look at Goni Manuel died, Goni Manuel was trying to stem the flow or the deluge of all this crime and violence. What did they say, Matt? He was too rigid. And Goni Manuel, Tiani come trying his best. All of a sudden, the same victimization. And now, Matt, I watching this guy systematically giving every foreign contractor our work, Matt. What is going to happen to our young men? They get frustrated, they feel hopeless, and they get themselves into crime and violence, and somebody will sit down there. Oh, but that's in so much people that broke and poor, and they don't doing it. So your shoes is size 10. My own is 8. I can walk in your shoes comfortably. My own is 6. Yours is 5, or yours is 4. So all of a sudden, we like to mix up issues rather than contextualizing issues. And Matt, it is frightening. I wonder which little, not even an earthquake, a tremor, strong enough that can bring down certain constructions that took place, engineered or constructed by foreigners, Matt, especially the Chinese. You see in all Bakr State and everywhere, the buildings are cracked and falling apart and all kind of nonsense. And the pastors and priests and educated people, plenty of them, they say not a word. Have a blessed day, sir.
Have a blessed day too. Have a blessed day. And of course, we can say and we can boast that, of course, our contractors of before and still contractors, Dominican contractors, it has been proven that they have done some good work. So kudos to them. Huh? We have some big contractors in Dominica in the past. They built the Dominica Grammar School, they built the Casabros Secondary School, they built all the majority of the big projects in Dominica, all done by our local engineers and contractors. Did we ever have those issues? A question to think about. Now we see a lot of cracks in our buildings. And some of these buildings are not even 10 years old yet. Something is not right. Our local engineers, you have to put your foot down, huh? And pay more attention. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes.
That project, I believe it to be the people that build the house of dark secret, because the day I see going in and out there, the same people, the same uniform, that build the house of dark secret, and I also believe they that maybe build the rim, because that's my street. I go up and down, so I see who going in and who.
So that's what you assume, Blue. That's what you assume, yeah.
Man, I tell that is the people I see going in and out there.
Okay.
Or something construction, whatever it is, the initials of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you what I seen.
Okay.
I'm not assuming. I tell you exactly what I seen. So the same people that did that.
All right.
Yes, another note, Matt. Matt, how many schools Labour Party scared with Labour Party built here? That's the first one, right?
Where you mean the first school?
Mm-hmm.
The first high school?
First high school.
I may think so.
Yeah, that's the first high school.
Mm-hmm.
And look, it started. They haven't even 3/4 way finished. It deteriorating already. And instead of pretty boy Floyd saying, "Oh my God, I'm so glad that there was no children or no workers there and they got injured." Pretty boy Floyd started to say, "Oh, first time in the history we have an auditorium." I said, "Lord have mercy, man of sex excited. The school has an auditorium that collapsed. It didn't even 1/4 way finish. It collapsed."
Well, we have to do blue. I agree. We have to do our investigation, and I think the minister at the time, or was acting prime minister, made it public that an investigation on all construction would assist from there. Hello, talk to me, but nothing. The work continues. Where is that investigation? Hello, talk to me. Caller, are you there? The overseas line is giving some problem there. Let's go back to the telephone. Are you there, caller?
Yes,
Hello.
Matt, I am there.
You're back. You love that subject,
Yes.
boy.
Yes, because that is my field. And when those things happen, they're trying to basically bring down contractors to an extent, because saying that them fellows don't know what they're doing. You understand? I work with E.H. Charles. I work with Stewart Paris on the Grande Secondary School. I did an entire block on the Grande Secondary School. And when we were pouring, I just want to reiterate, because earlier on I was not well composed, so now I can speak a bit clearer now. That there were tubes, concrete tubes, specifically designed for when concrete is poured. And that concrete, you pour it in a cube, and then you take it to the lab and see if the concrete meets the criteria. You understand what I'm saying? So was that done? Was there any supervisory work done on that project? Because it's a foreigner and nobody to supervise, nobody to make sure that everything is done and to do it right. My brother, that is just a total mess. And let me tell you something. My daughter is going to school, and that's why I'm very concerned about that. And if I have a choice, I might just have her removed from that school, because under this concrete structure, brother, and if a little tremor, with a little thing, no, I am very, very, very fearful for her in particular. I speak on other people's behalf, but I'm more interested in my daughter.
Well, we have to be interested in all our children, because somebody's child is your child too. So we have to be concerned about all children attending the Dominica Grammar School. And this is why I'm saying that investigation should be complete. So you will take off the worry from parents.
You're absolutely correct in that regard. And brother, let me tell you something. It's like putting square peg in the wrong hole. When you have a prime minister that doesn't have no expertise in that particular field to come and talk about, and things are well on its way, and he noticed certain things. What are the certain things that need correcting? What are the certain things? So, bro, we did shit in that country with that guy. We need to be removed like long ago. Anyway, take care. Have a good day.
All right, take care now. Take care. I see somebody trying to call me from the overseas line. Are you there, caller?
Yes, good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you. Yes?
Matt, the people think that our local people cannot build. Why would they think so? There is a school in my village. It was built by the Etienne family from Delhi in Mount John. And that house, that school, have been serving Mount John as a hurricane shelter. I remember 1979 Hurricane David. That school sheltered mostly everybody in Mount John. And it was built before that. And it is still steady going. So why they should give Dominicans crap now? It don't make sense. They just need to get out of there. I'm sick and tired of them. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. More telephone calls in the afternoon. We are reviewing this issue of investigations that were announced there in June 16th, on June 16th, and a month later, 1 month and 1 day, no reports. Hello, talk to me, yes.
Hello, good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, my brother.
Matt, I'm asking myself a simple question. Is this grammar school, does the grammar school have a PTA? Because that is very serious, Matt. Matt, if a floor collapse and it's several floors the building have, what about the other floors? And the thing about construction defects based on the nature of it can be fixed. So if it's columns that is missing from the slab, columns can be installed. But for them fellas to just going ahead with the construction of the place, continuing without doing the necessary investigation, it is dangerous, Matt. If something happened tomorrow, what are the charges against the contractors? Attempted murder? What is it, Matt? It's very serious. So we have to, the PTA, the grammar school PTA needed to call an emergency meeting to deal with the matter, to get a copy of the report, if any report exists, because the policies of this administration is making statements for public consumption that they're dealing with a matter when they are not dealing with it at all. For example, the people of Wesley are still waiting on the Skerrit-led administration and the parliamentary representatives, who is the Communications and Works Minister, to give us a copy of the plan for the proposed Wesley government school replacement. Because as I speak to you now, Wesley do not have a primary school. The Prime Minister say it is in the path of the international jet airport, and the children were relocated to Northeast Comprehensive School. So instead of we go forward in this country, we are going backward. So I want to know from the government, have you completed first the report into what happened at the grammar school to ensure that the students that's supposed to enter there in the new year is entering a safe building? And two, what is the position in respect to the rebuilding of the Wesley Primary School? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Just to reiterate, I want to play that statement. My guest has joined me, and I'll entertain him there for a few minutes on that very subject as it relates to this by Dennis Charles on June 16th. This one.
The government of Dominica views the collapse of the concrete roof at the Dominica Grammar School construction site on Monday, June 16, as a matter of grave concern and is addressing it with the highest level of urgency and seriousness. We are thankful that the incident caused no injuries. On Tuesday, June 17, the Cabinet decided on the following measures to ensure thorough and transparent response with the safety of students and staff as our top priority. An independent investigation will be conducted to determine the cause of the structural failure. An engineering firm will be engaged to carry out a comprehensive assessment and submit a detailed report to the government. All other structures currently under construction at the site will be thoroughly inspected to assess their structural integrity and ensure compliance with safety standards. Construction activities have been ordered suspended with immediate effect while the investigation is ongoing. A joint team from the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Public Works has been tasked with overseeing the process and ensuring that all necessary corrective actions are implemented. The well-being of the students, teachers, and staff of the Dominica Grammar School is the government's paramount concern, and we will make no compromise in ensuring their safety and protection. The government of Dominica will provide further updates as the investigation progresses and additional information becomes available.
You heard the ERC, Electoral Reform Coalition, asking for a full report. Because apparently there has been no investigation, hence no report. 1 month after, 1 month, 1 day after, no reports. What's really going on? Michael Astafan, good afternoon to you. Let me allow you to make a comment on this ongoing, they claim, ongoing investigations, if any. Good afternoon to you. Yes. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Michael. Good afternoon.
But we have laws in Dominica. Okay, you need planning approval before you proceed with any project.
On any project?
Any project. Government, with government is even more stringent. They have to do cost benefit analysis. They have to environmental, socioeconomic impact on the people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when one has a project like that, to redesign, you have to select consultants. Okay? The selection of consultants, basically, you advertise, you have this project, you're looking for consulting firms. Basically, will ensure that the architectural and structural designs and so
it's solid
are met, and it meets any legal requirements. Okay? They may have restrictions based on planning checks that they have to do. Now, overall, we have in the service accounting officers. We have a post they used to have called the Superintendent of Public Works, who is to guarantee that all civil works of government is being done to protect life and property. So these are basic inherent safeguards that we as a people have in addition to our constitution. Kapinski, from what I understood, went up without planning permission, environmental impact assessment. That is the complementary. Right now, there's a marine going on there, a marina, sorry. So, unless, you see, government is created to manage the people's resources and to ensure that taxpayers get value for money. You can only do that if you are a responsible accounting officer. So this thing goes beyond the design, because if they didn't follow all those procedures before they started building and get planning permission, I mean, all government buildings are compromised. They are doomed.
So would you agree, Michael, that maybe this grammar school building, the planning division did not oversee this? What's really going on? Because we hear no investigation, so planning must be involved.
Planning has to be involved. They have to review the design, both structural and architectural, to ensure that you have circulation and what have you, and there's enough space. Even churches, they review churches to make sure you have adequate parking, toilet facility. So there's a role for planning, you understand? But government feels, because it's government, they don't need that. And then what happens is $1 million project will end up being tendered for $4 million. A bridge for 20, how many $1 million that bridge cost them?
A few millions.
From what I understand, people say they could do it for 150 price. Okay? So
because this construction, based on my information, would cost 55 million. And we did the grammar school for the Castleberry School was built for about $7-8 million.
But I cannot see that. I'm not a structural designer, and I don't know quantity there. But
common sense.
But I know what Castleberry cost and what Granby cost. Okay, and when you compare the cost, it begs the question: who is looking after? Who's the accounting officer allowing that to go down? You see, so we have a major problem. It's not just design flaws. Because they want to push things through, they overlook critical areas. The design costs, what is the value? Because what has to happen is the consultant prepares the design, quantities and whatnot, and they put it out to tender. And based on what the contractors do, what contractors tender, construction companies, you can see when somebody doesn't fit the project because they may go way below. And some people are way above. And so the consultant have to have a ballpark figure where that cost of that building is going to come. Government can't decide to design a school and build it without coming out with a budget. And in government, they have persons qualified to estimate the cost of a building, a 1, 2, 3-story building of a certain construction, and cost either $300, $400, $500 a square foot. And they come up with a ballpark figure. So when they have a final design and they put it out to tender, they will know if the person tendering is way below, and they will have problems with that because they will have cash flow because it's tendering for those people who are over tendering. But it is clear that taxpayers have been ripped off with those projects. If you have a faulty design and you have to go through it, that's a cost to taxpayers. We shouldn't have to be involved in that.
But Michael, after this collapse of the building, the government promised a full investigation. So why, after a month and 1 day, there's no investigation?
Well, they should have informed. Normally, when these things happen, government, it is required that an independent person, since government was the one issuing the project, and they may not have followed the right procedures to select that contractor, it raises an issue, and that's where cover-up comes in. So the government cannot be involved in that. I think they could ask the engineering society in Dominica to
investigate,
select a consultant, an independent person to do that. Because you find that you may have a local contractor who never got the opportunity to tender, okay, an engineer. So you have to be careful who you select. You don't want anybody who has conflict of interest to do that. So you need to select an independent person to review that. But clearly, this wasn't something who collapsed under pressure. It collapsed on its own weight. So there is a major question that has to be answered. Because our contractors, man, they know when something don't have enough steel. Because they build 20-foot spandex. And they will have an idea something is wrong. And they will ask the engineers a question. Most of the contractors that work with, and I know, they can see when something has inadequate steel, or they may question why they have so much steel. Okay? But clearly, that one there, most of the contractors that I've worked with would have smelled the coffee and seen something is wrong with the span that they were having. Because how many, look at the social security bill, look at our ministry, man. In the 60s, that was built, you know, man.
I know.
That is 50 years old. The hurricane didn't shake it, you know, and that building.
And Maria came married and shake it.
That building, man, is so well constructed that you could do some architectural improvements to make it look like a state-of-the-art building. They have claddings you can put on it. You know, this sort of thing. There are certain aggregate finishes you could use on it. You could put glass on it.
So it's more than 40 years old for sure.
But, man, we bring in Chinese in Dominica to do work. go on this college, but I invite you to go to the college and inspect the thing that is not 5 years there. The condition.
I spoke about that earlier, yes?
Yes.
You're cracking up.
So clearly, we're not bringing in Chinese to transfer technology to us in construction. There are Chinese building seawall or walls in Massa. And the walls were crooked, man. And our boys, when they build a wall, that thing is perfectly straight. The reinforcements, they know how to put the reinforcements, how to finish the stuff, how to rub it and make it look neat and nice. The Chinese were learning under some boys that they employed, local fellas, in the Mao and Massa, when they were doing the work there. So you can tell that something is wrong with the Chinese we bring them for construction. Because if you go to China, man, the quality of the buildings they have, although you read, they have some incidents where a project manager walking to show a meeting and somebody fall through the concrete. Okay? I was reading something like that. I don't know if it's just fake news or what. But it is important to note Chinese are top-notch contractors. But those we have here that I've seen, I wouldn't put them in that.
You question that.
And the other thing I find about our schools, they're just taking up recreational space in all our schools. They're using an existing school in the middle of, I passed through Scalibishi, what I saw there, I was not pleased with. But as a young boy, I used to play cricket in Scalibishi, and they should have been,
No more.
Okay? I used to go to Samsung.
Castlebrooke's the same.
You know, this is a fundamental thing because if you're going to build a school, you need recreational fields for sports, athletics, football, cricket, basketball, tennis, and those things. Our children need that exposure. We have talented people in Dominica. They go overseas with their talent and they look, we have our gold medalist, okay? And she from Mao. So we have talented people, and you have people building schools. And I do not think that they do the socioeconomic studies to ensure that it improves the environment for learning, because learning is not just book learning. You have to have a comfortable classroom to sit in, and you have to take a break, have a little run. I mean, Matt, they used to catching content in the yard as a young boy. I used to see the children play. Every recess, they would find things to do to keep them
occupied.
You know, and I don't see that at the school. You must be people cooling off, and so at the school. So we have a problem to deal with at the school level. But insofar as construction of safe buildings for our people, I think our accounting officers better review their terms of reference and their
mandate,
employment letter to ensure that they meet the requirements of the employment letter, because they have to use due care to ensure that the money spent is to give us value for the money. You cannot build a bridge for $20 million if you can get a quality bridge for 11 or 10. They have to respect taxpayers. Money is public trust. When you're giving public trust, they have to ensure that happens. And just their contracts going up, you don't see tenders for it. So it's a bit of a challenge. Once you have CDB involved, World Bank involved, you can rest assured you're getting more value for money. But if it's a CDI project, man, how is funding? There's serious questions raised, and I think every administration needs to ensure that it gives people value for money.
All right, let's see if we can take a few text messages. Somebody says, what Michael says is saying is, in a nutshell, that this government is lawless. So that strengthens the point people are asking when they say Scarrett and the bank mock should come to see us and they will not tolerate lawlessness is a joke because they flaunt the law all the time, and these people will always be convinced that this guy are total jokers. That's a WhatsApp message. There are more. And let's see if we can take a voice note there. Let's see this one.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you.
And good afternoon to Mr. Estefan.
Yes.
Mr. Estefan, we love Matt. I know some people love to hate him, but Mr. Estefan, I'm not being hypocritical. For the years I'm listening to Matt, I love Matt. I love his show. But is it that the time has come for us to tell Matt, when he hear these nice words by these people who are called ministers, don't let us listen to it on Q95? Would that be fair? Mr. Estefan, how many times you have heard nice words, like that, nice articulated words, and nothing happening? Mr. Estefan, don't you think that the man who represents us from China there, how you call him, China what? The man that representing us, he from China in Dominica there.
The ambassador.
He had a conversation with Matt. Matt had an interview with him. And Matt will hear me say it, you know. He said to Matt that, Jesus Christ, Dominica have got people with the skills, you know. When Matt was referring to him for the jobs that are going out to Chinese and stuff like that, overseas people. He said we have got the skills. And Matt, Mr. Stephens, when he said that, I was very upset, you know. Because if you drive now to go down to Kenfield, the extension that was set on the Kenfield Airport for the fire department, all these blocks you see lay flat, like you can see the hose for air to pass through. Mr. Stephens, I laid them, you know, years ago with Mr. Davis brothers. I love fishing. I love to go after dolphin, but he would call me and say, come and walk. And I going down to walk. Mr. Safan, the reason why I really send this voice note is to say to you, please help me. We are fed up of hearing these people saying things and come on Q95 and we're just wasting time talking about it.
Well, I'll tell you what. In any society, you have to hear all voices, be it the government, be it the opposition, and Q95 belongs to every side of the story. Okay, that's my response to you, Mr. Aspen. You can make your point.
I would like to tell you that it's impossible. It's important to hear the government so that you can exercise your civic responsibility to see whether they're doing things that are keeping with the law. Some basic questions I would want to ask. Now, these Chinese workers, are they playing PAYE?
I asked that. No. Apparently not. But
so, wait a minute. Are they prisoners that they brought here to work their time or slave labor? What is going on? Anybody who has a salary above X is supposed to be paying taxes. And if they in Dominica, they may end up staying. So they should pay social security. So if they end up staying in Dominica, they may find a young girl, have children, and stay in Dominica. That they will benefit from social security. This thing, man, it's important. It's important that we exercise the rule of law. No foreigner can come and put here and pay taxes, man. Us contribute to social security.
I asked that question to Social Security some time ago, and they said, yes, sir, but the people signing the contracts have not indicated that to them yet, so it's off their hands, off the books, you know? Something is wrong.
Man, every civil servant's job is governed by basically laws and regulations. So if there's something that they have to do and it's not being done, it's in violation of our constitution. You have to treat everybody the same. You can't discriminate against Dominicans for foreigners. Because if Dominicans are paying tax, why should a foreigner not pay tax? And all countries give you grant.
Mm-hmm.
right? There's some restrictions as to whether you can pay duty on their grant and whatnot. Having said that, it has to be across the board. It can't be for one set of person giving you grant money. So it is clear that something is not right, and we have to address it, because any country giving you aid want to make sure that the aid stands out as quality assistance. The hospital will work wonderful, all the equipment is functioning. The state-of-the-art equipment up there that has been put in place is not functioning. Okay? And I met a Dominican who came to train people to use it and had to leave because he was frustrated. Just to train them, he was having such difficulty. Okay? He used to live 2 houses away from me growing up. Okay? And he's an expert traveling around the world, teaching people how to use these sophisticated machines to scan you and to tell you what's wrong with you. It's all computerized. So they have it up there, he told me. And the sad thing about it is, he came to train Dominican and they gave him a set of people. And only 2 were Dominicans. After the first week, the Dominicans stopped coming. Okay? So we have major problems. We need to transfer technology to our people. You're not telling me Dominicans are not bright. But I was a teacher in the convent and in the grammar school. But I know we have bright people. We have bright people. Any profession we can pick up, our people can pick it up. Any profession.
Let's take a voice now. Let's take a voice now this time. Yes?
Further. You're going back from way back. Let's go back to slavery days. Structures that my people built under slave harsh condition are still standing. Structures that they built for umpteen years with stone before they had a computer or a lab to check the strength of the concrete, still standing. They are inferior workers. They don't know what they're doing. They are not skilled enough to do them kind of structures. But Mr. Scary is a Chinese. He'll make excuses for the Chinese company why he could give them the money. The other, what you call, the disaster capitalist, Mohammed, what his name? Okay? What he does is make excuses for them because them and him in complot, my friend. That's why every structure built in Dominica is way overpriced. Because everybody have their hand in it. Everybody getting the kickback. And the material come inferior because they don't skim everything off the top and you can't do proper construction because the money is not there because everybody take their share before we see a building. Same thing with the hotels, same thing with everything else, same thing with the passport. You go on and on, like somebody say you have a continuous investigation never closed. It's robbery, it's thievery, it's corruption. This is what destroys the country. There's no other answer to all what's taking place. Man, I would not let my children go close to that school. Not close. Don't pass there.
You see, parents are worried. We have to be very concerned about that because if the people don't want to send their children to school because they think the buildings are compromised, that's a serious worry. So please complete this investigation so we have less worry on the parents out there. PTA, you should call an emergency meeting to find out just what is going on there. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Yes, good afternoon, Sir. How are you?
Good afternoon to you. I recognize the voice. Good afternoon, sir.
Isaac Baptiste here, and I'm Mr. Fantin Studio. Good afternoon, sir. Is it my understanding that you seem to be suggesting the government informed that there would be an investigation into what happened at the Dominica Grammar School grounds with that building construction project?
June 16th, and nothing yet.
Investigation has been suspended or something like that?
That's what they promised. I can play the clip there from the acting prime minister at the time, is Dennis Charles.
I did hear that. So,
okay.
So, because the last I heard is that they would be engaging professionals from overseas to do the investigation. I would hope that they are doing that, although I believe that they are qualified persons in Dominica that could undertake the investigation. But the government is free to do what they want to do to get down to what is required. The fact is that you find this type of thing happen. It should not happen in a developed world. But when it happens, it's something serious that it must be taken very seriously and investigated. Natural disasters happen and building collapse, but when it comes to failures of construction, of etc., then that's serious matter that requires even criminal investigation. Matter like this, what you have, what the players? You have a developer. Do we know who is the developer? Some saying it is the government of Dominica, some saying it is MMCE. Who is the developer of that phase of the Dominica Grammar School? I'm even hearing it is just the Chinese. So we need to know that. There is also the Development Control Authority, the Physical Planning Department under the Physical Planning Act, and the Dominica Building Code. There is a document that is applicable to the OECS Islands, Dominica included, enforceable, called the Dominica Building Code. And it provides strict guidelines for construction, etc., particularly large projects, because the code anticipated that there could be projects where the physical planning department or the development control section does not have the required competence within the department, maybe trained engineers, to inspect work that are of public interest, major projects, and the code proceeds to identify the project that should be monitored by what they call a special inspector, meaning that the government, through the development control section, employs someone competent enough to make sure that they are monitoring the construction, they approve the various phases of the construction, and at the end of it all, they provide what they call an occupancy certificate, meaning that, yes, this is a certificate and that is saying that the building is safe for occupation. And therefore, the buildings like public buildings, supermarkets, etc., etc. The code provides for all of that. As was this observed, there is a contract, the designers, engineers, and architects on such projects. They are contractors and subcontractors. Who are the people involved? Well, and this haven't happened. The government has an obligation, whether it is the developer or whether it is just a regulator, an obligation to suspend work on all components of the project. Because you now want to bring in investigators, not just for the building that collapsed, but for the whole work, to ensure that there is no compromised components in the rest of the structures. And it's only after you have established that things are safe, you can resume construction, that you allow construction to continue. I'm hoping this is what the government is doing. I'm hearing that construction is continuing. And the report must be made public. It must be made public. And the report identify who are the people that, if there are problems, is it because of design? Is it because of the fact that the contractor did not went along to the specification provided for construction of the building? Is it because of lack of inspection? And even if there was lack of inspection, it does not make absorb the contractor, because the contractor still becomes responsible even though the inspection did not take place. So these things must be observed. It has to be carried on. And the government, please, take this thing very seriously. There is no politics involved in that. It's the life and safety of people, not students, people are visiting, etc. So you have to ensure that, and the documents are there, the building code is there, the Physical Planning Act is there. They are qualified people. I mean, these are standard structures being built all over the world. So if something that happened, there are many reasons. And once the report comes out and the persons who were at fault identified, whether it's the contractors, there has to be a criminal investigation. And those who are found guilty charged criminally for what has happened there. So I am really hoping that the government, maybe we are just talking, and that the government is doing its work. But the government must keep the public aware of what is happening. And when that report gets out there, it has to be made public, and those liable have to be criminally charged if that is the reason. And as I said, the government of Dominica must respect. There are documents. It's not a I say. There are documents, there are laws, there are regulations to govern construction in the country. Not because your name is the government, you can do what you want. It's not so. Countries don't run that way. And I'm certain if had they respected the Dominica Building Code that is there, I have it right in front of me looking at it right now, provides for so many things in there. And if they had observed what has happened there, 99.999% recurring, it would not have happened. Good afternoon, man.
Good afternoon to you. Profound statement there by Mr. Isaac Backus himself, an architect. Michael, you want to make a comment?
Well, yes. Also, the consulting firm who is responsible to ensure that the design and architectural features are put in place. They have persons who go at critical points in the construction to ensure that the structural integrity will be met in terms of the steel, and then they take samples of concrete and then they test it to make sure it meets the requirement. So for that to happen, you have to have massive failure. It's more than one thing failed on them. It's not as simple as that. So a thorough investigation to find out what is the faulty design of what's the contractor negligence and those sort of things.
Well, let's take a phone call there. I think somebody's on my telephone trying to share his view. Are you there, caller?
Morning, Matt. Good morning, Mr. Fans.
It's good afternoon to you, man. Good afternoon to you, sir. How you doing?
Yeah, taking a rough life easy, you know. Yeah, Matt, I've been listening to that whole saga to do with the construction and the failure of where the building was compromised, with that collapse and everything. And Matt, I don't think that's just my opinion. I think the approach to eradicating such things to happen in the future, I still think we're not focusing on a legislative approach towards things. And I want to as your main source of protectivity in infrastructural development. What legislations you have in place to protect, validate any investment the government makes on the behalf of the people? That's basically what it boils down to. Now, from a legislative perspective, you would think, or if they don't have, I would suggest that they put a very robust program in place to do with how, under any construction level, the contractor is overseen based on periods of inspection and quality control. All these things has to be adhered by a state representative on the behalf of the government of Dominica. So these are part of the ethics you use to protect the investment and also the safetiness of everything. Now, Matt, preliminary to go into that direction, as far as a contractor is contracted or engaged for any infrastructural development on the island, I think we need to go the international best standard to do with liability in terms of liability and workman compensation in terms of an insurance scheme by anybody engaged on any contractual work on the island. It is very important the government, in their responsible practices, they know how to shift liability and protect the revenue and the interests of the government treasury and the interests of Dominicans. And there are legislative frameworks in which you do that. Understand? So even preliminary to early on in your conversation, people were saying we're going to pay for that, and that should not even be a question. Had there been a certain criteria that the state recommends for contractors, where the state gets a high level of protection, infrastructural quality protection, then that is not a conversation as to who's going to pay for that.
You're making the
because
point.
that's what.
Hold on. Make him.
Caller, the government of Dominica has been building for years bridges for almost a century. Okay, and before it was done under the supervision of the British with the laws. And we have laws in place for everything. Granted, with new technologies, new products, they may have to amend some of the regulations and the laws. But planning was doing an excellent job. They would stop you if there was a problem, work it out with the consultants, the design engineers, and the contractor to protect the client. It was for the
Yes.
public sector and the private sector. So that is in place. That
Yeah, but
plan is in concern.
that is from an from an inspection point of view. But I'm also talking about the liability point of view in terms of compensation, in terms of there's a workman getting injured on the job. Who's responsible for the death or the injury of that worker? You have to make sure that your citizens, when they're engaged, or any foreigner or any human being, there is a protective framework in case of any accident that happens. There is a reasonable forum where you could go to get compensation to either aid in the recovery of that person or, in worst case scenario, death. There's a compensation to the family for the death caused by that person. And according to how that investigation goes, it could also be determined based on the negligence identified by the inspector. It can also shift all the way down to a manslaughter case, an involuntary manslaughter case based on negligence.
Well, let me ask you, my friend Blank Pepper. Don't you think that after a month from the day, we would have been able to get results of the so-called investigations at this point?
But you cannot get results from a platform that is not structured to give results. And that is why my conversation is technically laying out a preliminary structure that there is a go-to forum to take care of just what we're looking for now. You understand what I'm saying? So you have not heard none of what I said being promoted, much less for the government to have a place to go to for resolution purposes to do with what happened there. They don't have that. So it's about who says, she say, what I can cover, what I cannot cover. You get my point. There is no domain that somebody can go and get some justifiable results based on the event that took place or whatever the circumstances are at that time. There has to be a legislative framework and a go-to forum for that by state. And so while we engaging in all the development, the most critical part of development is securing it from a financial perspective and from a safety perspective. Engineers that are in Dominica, whoever are called inspectors in Dominica, when was the last time they did an updated course that is Y2K compliant with new technology and building materials and new work ethics? You get my point? These are things you have to be following up. I mean, you could just call people like Bucci in New York. Sometimes you see Bucci on Facebook on scaffold, 100 and something floors doing framing, and then the next week you'll see him sitting in a classroom, because there must be continuous education that is up to date based on the shifts of trend and application and everything. We, based on what if it's there, it's not promoted, it doesn't seem like we have that. So, moving forward is our solution. We can criticize as much as we want about that fall. The bottom line is for no more not to fall in the future. So that program should really be a resolution promoted program, because what we don't want to do is have an incident repeat itself. We cannot be trying to make political lamenting on a fact that has already happened. Right now, we have to go into de-risking mode, and all heads have to give their opinion and their suggestions to be able for us to tighten that forum so we don't go into any predicament to do with loss of life, loss of building, and the inconvenience of it, because you see school going to open, it was supposed to be handed at a certain time, so that's another inconvenience that's going to cost the government to subsidize where they're going to displace the students, and also to inconvenience parents that it's not convenient to be sending that child out of a certain zone for too much long of a period again.
I'll tell you what. Of course, Black Pepper. Thank you for your contribution. It's basically, from what I gather, that we don't have the structures in place. That's his point, Michael.
I know.
Dominic is a strange country.
Some contract to protect the government. Okay, so they put restrictions from contract to contract. It varies. I understand what you're saying. That for sure, I know in Dominica, planning and the consulting firms would work together to ensure what he's saying. But he is saying a little more. I think subcontractors are required to take insurances for their employers, they're required to do that. And especially
So we have to make it mandatory, though.
yes, you have to make it mandatory in some instances, especially if it's dangerous work. And these sort of things happen. One of the things that I don't expect the government to come up with any report from last month to this month. But what I expected to hear from them, that they contacted the engineering
and they're working with, yes,
the professional organization, and they have appointed X, Y, and Z to do the investigation. Okay? Because the person would now be, all now, if they work has started and they have not appointed somebody, you cannot get the facts because it's like interfering with a crime scene. Okay, nobody should be there until the investigating team has been appointed. Okay, and I would expect by now the president of the Engineers Association and government would have come up with a solution on that.
Good point.
I think the government has to work closely with the engineering society. They cannot just work outside of that because they represent all engineers. And whether we have to do continuous exams every 5 years for certain professional work, then if that's the requirement, put it in place. But it does not take 4 weeks for you to meet your government, meet with the engineering society to come up with a
structure,
group of persons, put out a tender for selection, somebody to look at that. That doesn't happen within 48 hours. Then you know who you're going to select, you put out a tender for 48 hours, and then you have persons tendering to do the investigation.
All right, Michael, thank you. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to deal with a completely different issue because of the time. Yes, we'll do this and we'll come back.
During a hurricane, if there is a lull after the eye of the storm has passed, stay in a safe place, except to make emergency repairs. The wind may return suddenly with even greater strength. Since 90% of hurricane casualties occur from drowning, you must evacuate islands and beaches and other vulnerable locations as early as possible. And those seeking shelter should shut off water, gas, and electricity before leaving their home. A message from Q95 FM Radio.
Need one trusted place to stock up for your home, shop, or business? Fine Foods Inc. Distribution has got you covered. From dry goods and frozen foods to your favorite drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, plus all the household must-have. We've got it all under one roof. We're right here in Jimmy Dominica, and yet we deliver fast. Whether you're running a supermarket, a corner shop, a bar, or just like your pantry full and happy, Fine Foods Inc. brings you the best brands you know and love. Great prices, top-tier service, trusted products. 255-6810 or 316-0164 or drop by our Jimmy location to check out what's in store. Fine Foods Inc.
Fine Foods Inc. The biggest distributor for the biggest brand.
If you know your favorite store, dial it now. 612-1253. That's Mega. You can rely on Mega for some real deals on name brand clothing and electronics. High quality, low price. We are a wholesale and retail store located in Calabishi, right on the main road. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram as Mega Deals Dominica. Like our page. Check out our stuff. Call us. Visit us. Would appreciate that. Come try it on. Love it. Buy it at Mega Deals. Your one and only online and brick and mortar store. Mega Deals is also on wheels. We make it convenient for your shopping. We deliver straight to your door. Email us at info@megadealsda.com. Rely on Mega Deals for some real deals.
Carifesta is the whole region looking good. Forward is we runway. It's in the way we walk. It's the way we talk. It's the way we move. We're ready for the world. And when we step out and pose just so, it's pure style and fashion. Look away! Come for Carry Festa 15 in Barbados. Book your stay now at visitbarbados.org/Carry Festa.
Do you want more miles for less? Rubis Ultratech gasoline and diesel uses advanced fuel technology to optimize your vehicle's performance and improve its fuel economy. By removing deposits, Ultratech maximizes your vehicle's performance, keeping your engine clean and running like new. What does Ultratech greater fuel economy mean to you? You get more miles for less. Put only the best in your tank. Ultratech Fuel, only from Rubis. Get Rubis, get going, get Rubis, get going.
If you know quality, then you must know the manufacturers of Dominica's finest rums. Belfast Estate Limited, over 80 years leading the industry with exceptional standards and formidable customer service. We present the manufacturers of BB Rum, Soca Rum, Red Cap Rum, Cask Rum, and the signature Belfast Estate Rum Punch. With island-wide distribution daily, Belfast Estate Limited has cemented its mark as the distributor of choice for products like Eldorado range of rums and creams, Kubali Bear, Corona Bear, Guinness, Root Boy drink, and of course, Sunblast juices, Thomas Snacks, Vitamalt, and Pine Hill juices. Call the office at 440-7032 or visit the distribution outlet at Jimmy Dominica. Follow on Facebook or Instagram at Belfast Estate. Belfast Estate Limited, your leading manufacturer and distributor of rums in Dominica.
All right, Dominica, we're here. We don't have too much time, but we're going to move to a very important subject. I know Mr. Michael Astafan, once he's here, there are a number of issues that he would like to explore. But just again on the project, read this grammar school. Somebody asked that no work should have resumed on the project until a full investigation has been conducted and a report issued advising on the safety of the project and the other buildings on site. We leave that up to government. I'm hoping that we hear a statement soon. But Michael Astafan, it's been some time. I know you've been addressing the issue of our water rates. There was a promise from the Prime Minister that he would address the issue after all the controversy in the media and elsewhere. But persons are still paying those significant rates, Michael. Where are we? Where are we?
Let's go to the point of view. Dowasco and the board. The management of Dowasco and the board are totally silent on the letters that we wrote them.
And they were signed letters?
They were signed letters, yes. We wrote them, copy to the government. The minister and the PS, we wrote them, and they're very silent on that. They have not tabled their statements as required by law since 2016. Parliament met recently, and when I spoke to the Speaker of the House, he said he has nothing tabled in the West. So I am going right now to write the auditor to question him as to whether he feels that the people of Dominica do not need to know the runnings of Dowasco, and he has an obligation to ensure that his work fulfills the requirement of the law. The law requires that, so he should insist that the minister tables it. Because he is doing an audit for the people, not for the minister, for the people. And once the cost of providing water gets close to the revenue that they're making, they're obligated to notify the people so that you can't come to the people and say you want money right away. And you come to the people by presenting your accounts, your operations, what you're doing to ensure you meet the productivity and the efficiency of the delivery of water. How you compare with St. Lucia insofar as you're doing that, and the kind of rate you will want 5 years down the line, not after the fact. not after the fact. You tendered every project, you got the best value for money for you. Where the tenders, you show the Public Utilities Commission all your construction projects. Look at the cost of maintenance is going up. The cost of implementing new services, new areas, that cost is going up. So you present, Lucia is doing it now, you know, man. I can give you the information to Lucia, how they do it. They present to the regulator their statements, and they do it every year. And Dominica is the only OECS island, I think, that does not have their statements online, you know. It's not online. There's one or two of them, you find that they have 2 years in a row. They have it. They can send it to you if you contact them, but it's not on. It's not online. But you find that in Dominica they have 5-6 years of the parliament is meeting, and there's no obligation on the accounting officer to have the statements tabled. The minister. So the silent, the only person we heard from was the prime minister.
And he said he was going to change it.
Yes. But 5 years ago, or 6 years, I listened to a teacher's program where they said that principals of government schools and principals of the assisted schools, the salary of the assisted school was half that of the, was around 50% of that of the government school. And they've been negotiating that for years. And that they agreed that they're going to look into that sometime in 2019 or 20, man. It's 2025 and they have not done it. And school is opening in September. So don't be surprised if some of the principals support the teachers in the assisted school and don't open in September. Don't be surprised. Because you cannot have people working at the government schools, and most of the government schools now, they have fewer students than the assisted schools. Okay? And so when you hear the Prime Minister talk or you hear a minister talk, unless they can come back in a responsible way to show that they're doing what they say, it begs the question. It begs the question. Are they just trying to mama guy the people? Because the Prime Minister said so, and I was waiting to hear from him. But it looks like we have to seek other ways of getting them to respond. You mean you go into the people for money, you're the PS of the ministry, your wife is on the board. Your first cousin is on the board. Okay? Your father's sister's daughter is on the board. Okay? You have other people on the board. So that shows massive conflict of interest. Okay? Massive conflict of interest. With those issues facing you, you're not making a statement, man. You're not asking the people to resign. So I think we need to organize, the consumers need to organize a demonstration to go to DOWASCO and to let DOWASCO understand that they have to be accountable to the people. The law says so. And the minister should respond. And the PS, they should respond to those accusations. Not accusations, the things that they're doing, they should resign. The 2 members I mentioned, they should resign forthwith. Because that is a violation of basic principles. Massive conflict of interest. You cannot be the accounting officer for a ministry. No wonder they're not able to do it in Parliament. What are they doing on the board? What are the board members doing, man? They're supposed to be representing us, not the government. But they put the government cronies there. It's a utility. Members of a utility board supposed to represent the people's interest, to give them value for money. And this is the basic thing that they're missing. They figure you have to give Labour Party support. You have to put labor rights there. You need to put people who understand utility services, maybe have experience in the type of utility, to be able to review the services that we have. So we have to take a different approach. We need to take a both legal and exercise our democratic rights to go and demonstrate, and to ask the manager, the government, the manager, the board, and the ministry responsible to be honorable and face the people.
Because Michael,
why haven't you tabled your? Why haven't you given account for the people money that you're spending? Why? For over 5 years.
a lot of small businesses have approached me, Michael, and they say, Mike, look at the volume of water I use, and look at my bill. So there's no comparison there.
Matt, what they do is mismanage the company. I can say that because they're not showing the records. So they're afraid to show the records, man. If the records were outstanding and they were performing, they would present it to you. St. Vincent, go on Antigua, go on St. Kitts. The documents, the annual reports are online. Ours are being held by the manager in his drawer, and the minister, and the caps and the PS in their drawer. People cannot see it. We need it.
So where's the accountability?
They have to give an account, but they say no, they're above the law. Man, I support government's move to try to take those guns on the road. But Matt, you have to be responsible. You had a minister with a gun in parliament. He was never censured. Nothing was done. Okay? You're asking people to return their. You're finding guns at the port. How can guns arrive at the port? There's a shipper mat. There's a consignee mat. You understand what I'm telling you? You find guns at the port. If you have a package there for 5 years, okay, point is that you have to see what's in it to put it out to tender like a barrel. To put it to tender because nobody claimed it for, and you open it and you find guns in it. And it doesn't have a consignee because you forget the consignee. But there must be a consignee. You can trace that barrel map. Barrel will just come off the shape here. So they all know who's shipping the guns, who's receiving it. Why the Minister of National Security is not doing his work? He's on the radio talking, what he's talking about. We have investigators who could deal with that in Dominica. It's common sense. And they have investigators who are trained in that department. Why are they coming to the people? Do they think the people are foolish, man? Whoever bought the guns, unless they bought it from a criminal enterprise who's smuggling things under the table, whoever shipped that package must have documents. They must have proof of arrest. They must have paid it. Shipping is not as simple as that, You have to go, you have to identify yourself so they know who shipped it, they know who is receiving it. So I just rest my case, man. Because I think when the Minister of National Security come and tell people, oh, well, we find that at the port and whatnot, and we investigate it, and we're going to ask people to return. I don't think one gun on the road is one too many.
I think I've mentioned that to the security minister. From all the discussions, what I picked up, Michael, the people of Dominica don't trust the police. They don't trust the police. This is what is going on. So they might have some difficulty turning in the guns or being snitched.
There's a course going on about you. I'm telling you, I think it's reconciliation, how you deal with conflicting interests. And I think the Police Welfare Association and the police must understand. And they must be exposed to that kind of training. Okay? But the trust of the police can easily be hurt. The police need to understand the Constitution. They need to respect people's rights. And where the person violates the right, where the person violates the law, or try to take rights they don't have, and they stop them, they can't complain. I have a right to demonstrate, man. I don't need the police permission to demonstrate. Commissioner, I don't need your permission. At the Freedom Party, when we get involved in a demonstration, we ask, we go to the police. We seek a time that is convenient because we want them there to protect us and to protect and to remove anybody or any one of us who try to violate the law. But they cannot stop me to go and walk on public property. Okay? Like how they stop the people and they have them in court for walking on the road. Public property. To be able to stop and how you can tell people they cannot walk the road in front of Parliament? Parliament is not the Labour Party building or the Party Power building. Parliament is the people's building, and you're telling the people they cannot go outside their building or into their building. What you need is police security. If somebody step out of line, you pick them up. But because of the disrespect they have shown to people, the people don't trust them. But we need to.
You think that's a fundamental reason because
yeah, I think we as a people need to engage the Police Welfare Association, the police administration. We need to talk about our rights. I was talking to a young policeman. They don't even know what the Constitution look like, man. They never showed it to them. I wonder if the police chief is aware of the Constitution and the conduct. And it says that no law can contravene that. And they go and they take a law before the Constitution in 1978. Anything before 1978 that violates that is unconstitutional. But they have some people bringing into court every 3 months, bringing a lawyer from overseas. And it's basically harassing them. You don't run a country that way. But we need to talk to one another. And the president of the Police Welfare Association and the commissioner need to appoint a group of 4 to 6 policemen to meet with a group of us. And let's go through our constitution. We'll get the Bar Association involved also to explain the constitution, what you can do and not do. People cannot be demonstrating and you're attacking them. That's not your role. And the more they move in that direction to let people know they are right, is the less abuse the people will take. So they understand that. So they feel that they're above the law. But we need, as a people, to sit down and talk. The Bar Association, I cannot see me as a lawyer and they take a 17-something act and arrest somebody. And I'm in the bar I would ask all members of the bar to get the judges to hear this declaration as to whether that is the constitutional and hear within 48 hours. This is a total abuse of people's rights. Things they used to use when you were not considered a person, you're a slave. They don't consider you having rights. They have those laws. We now have rights. You don't just do those things. And that is the problem. The police needs to work with the people. The people need to work with the police. Man, I have close friends in the police service. They're gentlemen. What I see they doing when people are demonstrating, that is wrong. If somebody goes and takes stone to pelt at a demonstration or at the police, they're wrong. But they have a right to go and song and tell the people, we do not want that. It's unconstitutional. And when you go and demonstrate for things that are wrong, but they have not sanitized the electoral list for the last 30 years. They have removed none. They have not done one petition. You petition it, no hearing. Okay? So the Electoral Commission is not above the board. The police are not above the rule of law. The government is not above the rule of law. How can the Supreme Court of the land tell you, as a prime minister and minister accused of treating, the CCJ said that you have to go and hear the charges in the magistracy. Okay? Go to the magistrate and you are in contempt of that court. Who is the Attorney General? The Attorney General is supposed to watch that and say, the Prime Minister, this matter is very serious. We cannot go against the recommendations. It may not be judgment, the recommendations of the CCJ. But he's saying that the CCJ didn't make a decision. But it's like if you're an engineer building a bridge, the expert on the bridge said, yes, you can build the bridge with that material. Then you listen to him. If he tells you cannot build it, you're going to build it. Dominica has several branches. We have independent branches. We have the judiciary, we have the government executive. The judiciary, this most senior, is telling you that you're not above the law. You have to go and hear the charges and defend yourself like anybody else. They cannot go and hear charges and you have no lawyer. You're going to be like everybody else. You have a right to a lawyer. And you nolly cross that. And that makes it down there. Nobody challenge that. That is unconstitutional.
Michael, we can speak for the entire afternoon there, but we've got to go though. We've got to go. We have other issues to discuss.
The point I want to make,
yes,
you have to show that you honor the rule of law and follow what's in the Constitution and the law. And the police to get the people to trust you more. Things have gone a little way up. But that doesn't mean because it's way out we don't deal with the police. We have to engage the police. We need them for security, man. So we have to engage them and get them to understand. There are some of them who will want to tell you what they will do to you. I mean, when I go somewhere there's a party we talking and say, no, that is wrong. It is me, you see what I mean. You understand what I'm saying? Something totally unconstitutional. So you have that thing. But I think if they respect their senior officer who tell them what they're doing is wrong. If your senior officer gives you an order that is wrong, you cannot go and you have to tell them so that is wrong. And if he insists, then you have a problem. But there must be communication between the two.
Well, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up there on this point. Michael Asif, and of course, speaking to the issues of the day. Thank you very much. The Mighty Spoiler says, picking sense out of nonsense. We'll continue, Dominica, some other time with this businessman, prominent businessman in Dominica. Thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow, same time.
Every morning you're waking, La Trinity. You're compelled to see or hear something that's funny. Every morning you're waking, La Trinity. You're compelled to see or hear something that's funny. Just for instance, an Indian fella named John was bathing by a pipe naked as he born. A police man said, "Hey, you old nasty man, put on something before I send for the principal." So I said that he was lucky to get a chance. He would have go inside and put on a bathing pants. Well, he did put on something, this is no lie. You know, the gentleman went and put on a tie. Sometimes you might be passing across the square and some funny kind of conversation you hear. Just imagine a man reading a copy and say, "A snake in the bush kill a man." And the doctor's proof on that very night, the man died from nothing else but the big snake bite. But it's something still he can't understand why police still making investigation.